Hi, everyone, and welcome to this discussion on Am I Too Kind or Are You Too Kind? This question comes up for me and frequently in some form or another. And if you're here, you probably thought it too. Am I just too kind? Is that what's going on? Is that why I'm having the challenges I have? And today I promised to give you a kindness quotient. And this is an ancient teaching, by the way, this kindness quotient. It's super simple, super powerful. It gives us a way to enjoy caring for others without giving too much of our own time and energy away. So we're going to take about 20 minutes in discussion and with an exercise, and then I'll stay for another 10 minutes for Q&A if you've got some questions about that or something you want to explore a little deeper. So I'm really curious to get us started here. If you put in the chat room, what does being too kind mean to you? What does that mean when we're saying, I think I might be being too kind? What does that mean to you? Needing better boundaries. Yeah, Beth, that's beautiful. Yeah, maybe my kindness is motivating me to do more than I really should be doing for someone else. Over giving time and energy, Pauline said. Yeah. People pleasing, Jean said. Ava Marie, putting others first when we need to look after ourselves and our own life. Yeah. Amy, whoop, those went fast. Self-abandoning, putting my own priorities second. Yeah, Marianne, I've been a pushover. Feels that way, doesn't it? Yeah. Ooh, Nora, nice clarity. Doing it from the, there went motivation of gaining approval. Kate said, giving away my power. Rima, taken advantage of, giving everything away, although it's a choice, putting self last and getting clobbered. Yeah. Yeah. Vinay, allow oneself to be taken advantage of. Amy, appeasement. Jan, getting wrapped up in crazy making. Oh, yes, it absolutely does that. Yeah, these are really, really good definitions of what we really are saying when we say, am I being too kind? Terry said, don't save some kindness for self. And Brenda, giving people more. Oh, more than they can receive. Yeah, nice clarity there. Really nice clarity. Good, good. And for those of you that just came in, welcome. We're just talking about what are we meaning? What's the meaning behind am I being too kind? Yeah, Jean, teaching people how to treat us badly. Yeah, it does happen. They're hard. It's a really, really hard reality that we find ourselves in. So I do have some experience with this. I think most of us do, at least a little bit. Yeah, or we wouldn't be here. Of course we do. So for me, a lot of my people pleasing, of course, started in my family of origin, but I really saw it playing out for the first time in my relationship with my first husband. Same things you're talking about, always put him first, right? His needs were priority. In fact, honestly, I probably couldn't tell you what my own needs were. Does anybody relate to that? Like, what the heck do I want? But yeah. I'm so busy responding to other people's needs. If somebody said, well, what do you want? I would just sit there. I had no idea. No idea what I wanted. So we're going to talk a little bit about that too. And I think in retrospect, as I look back on that period of time, putting him first, being that people pleaser to him wasn't always out of kindness. I think a lot of the time it was out of a sense of duty. It was what I was taught to do. I'm seeing some nodding of heads. Some of you can relate to that. Yeah, it's not really pure kindness. It was more like, and especially my age group, by the way, that's how we were taught to be with our husbands. Our husbands came first. Their needs were priority because they were the breadwinners. And when we flipped it around in my family and I was the breadwinner, suddenly that wasn't making any sense anymore. Of course, it doesn't make sense even when we're not the breadwinners. It's never about a single person being first and another person being last. That's dysfunctional. But when we've been taught to do that, as I was, right, that was just what I knew to be the way you lived. That's what a marriage was supposed to be. So it took me some years to realize there's a time and place for duty, right? Yes, there are times we do something because it needs to be done. If you let the dishes pile up on the counter and you don't do them, they are just going to keep piling up, right? There is a time when duty is important. If we have a little one in our care and they're sick, there's a duty, isn't there? You feel it, this sense of, I need to be there for them, and doggone it, I'm tired and I don't feel all that well, but this one needs me. I need to show up. Absolutely, there's a time and a place for duty. Where it got all messed up for me was when fulfilling someone else's need was more important than my own. That's really what we're talking about, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. So when we're kind to another, but we're not being kind to ourselves, that's a breeding ground for resentment. Would you agree? Yeah, then we start resenting it. And that's what happened with my husband. That's exactly what I created, a space in which I resented my husband. It got to a place where I resented him so much, we weren't able to recover as a couple. That's how strong my resentment was. And I expected him to be like me. So I could read between the lines of what he was saying. So he didn't need to ask for what he wanted or needed because I intuited it. Anybody here able to do that? Able to intuit? Yeah, you pick it up. They don't even have to say a word. You are on it. You are there for them. Yeah, strong intuition, powerful gift, powerful gift. So he didn't need to ask for what he needed. But here's the thing. I kept waiting for him to do the same thing for me. And I was really disappointed because that's not how his intuition worked. He had intuition, but that's not how it worked. So I was constantly frustrated and feeling as though my needs weren't met because he wasn't picking up my subtle cues. He wasn't picking them up. So I anticipated his needs. And I would do things like, on the other side of it, I would show up to pick him up from the university where he was teaching and then wait an hour for him over and over and over again. Some of you are nodding your heads. You know that, right? You end up feeling really abused and taken advantage of, right? Yep. Never occurred to me to say, here's the deal. I'm going to show up at the time you ask me to be there. If you're not there within 10 minutes, my love, I'm leaving. I'm going to go do something else. Call me later. I'll pick you up when you're really ready. We didn't have cell phones back then, so we couldn't do it that way, right? So I'd sit and wait for an hour. And I felt like he wasted my time, right? Who was really wasting time? I was. I was wasting my time, right? I was wasting my time because I didn't know how to set a sacred boundary. So after I got divorced, I realized I could have gotten my needs met if I'd been kinder to me. Right? The second thing, if I had asked directly for what I needed. I learned that from my friend Ariane, who's on the call with us today. She said, Misa, they aren't going to necessarily intuit what you need. That's you. That's what you do. They need you to tell them directly. Put it right, write it down, ask for it, and ask for it multiple times. And something I learned some years later was ask for it 19 times. I'm serious. I am serious. Some of you are laughing. You're like, 19 times? Are you crazy woman? I was, yes, 19 times. The reason is it's going to take that many times before it sinks into their consciousness. It's not because they don't care. It's going to take that many times before your need becomes their need. Make sense? To you, it's like ever present. It's really important. To them, it's like, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. And then they do it again, or they don't do it again, and again, and again. And we're, what's wrong with this person, right? Nothing's wrong with them. They're just being human. We know this in marketing, by the way. We know this when I studied marketing. 19 impressions before they're likely going to say, hey, who are you? And I need to pay attention to this. Yes, that's a product I'm interested in. Yes, that's a service. 19 times. We know that. That's the psychology of being human, right? We know that. So one of the things we can do to make our lives a whole lot easier is give them the benefit of the doubt and 19 times. Was that helpful? 19 times. Yes. Yeah, just keep reminding them lovingly, gently, kindly, hey, hey, this is important. All right. The other thing I discovered was I had to find out what I wanted because I didn't know. My whole life had been about taking care of other people. I didn't know what I wanted. Can you relate? Yeah. I had to find out. And I'll give you a fun little exercise for that before we go today. So what I realized after the fact, after I left that marriage with a beautiful man, by the way, truly beautiful man, was that I needed to create opportunities for my own fulfillment. That was my job. And I needed to learn how to do it. Those were skills I needed to develop. So I want to ask you some questions. Do you tend, you can answer now, you can answer in the chat room, you can let me finish all three questions and say, yeah, 1, 2, 3 of these are they are things I do. Do you tend to read between the lines of what people say? You hear the subtext, you kind of know the subtext of what isn't being said. Yep. Yeah, I'm seeing yep, yes. Eva, Maria, Bina, yes. Do you anticipate other people's needs and meet them? Two parts to that question. You anticipate it and then you meet it. Yeah, I'm seeing some yeses there, partly. Yeah, all the time. Yeah. So they don't have to ask because we're already on it. Yeah. Yeah. In order to be accepted. Nice clarity, Eva Maria. Yeah. Seeing quite a few yeses. Do you give more of your time or energy than you can afford to? Yep. Seeing some yeses there. Yeah. 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 The good news, difficult news with this is you are probably highly intuitive and highly sensitive. And so you are reading between the lines. You are literally, you may even be hearing them. You may be hearing the words they're not saying exactly, right? That's a spiritual gift. You may be sensing it, feeling it in them with your clairsentience. That's a spiritual gift. You may just know it in your whole being. That's what claircognizance, you may know it. The first one I described, by the way, if you want to know the name, is telepathy. You're actually picking up words. You may have profound spiritual gifts and you've leaned into them most of your life in order to survive. Right? If I can anticipate mom's needs, things will go better with mom. If I anticipate dad's needs, things go better there. If I anticipate this teacher's needs, if I can read between the lines, I can do better on the schoolwork. You may not even have known that's what you were doing, but it was your nature. Does that resonate with some of you? It's who you are, right? the thing was, there was nobody in your life to say, oh, you're a highly sensitive, intuitive little being. Oh, this is how it works for you, love. The rest of us aren't picking it up like you are, right? We need you to really ask for what you need, honey. What do you need? And sit down and ask the question. I asked a dear friend yesterday morning, what do you need on this trip that we're taking? Wasn't sure. We got started in the conversation. I asked again today, what do you need? Oh yeah, that's a good question. What do you need? We want to make sure our needs get fulfilled on this journey we're taking together. And just to stay present. Okay, I got that one. What's the fun thing you want? How can I fulfill you in fulfill your desire by doing something fun? Here's what I want to do that's fun. Can you join me in that? So we can fulfill that need to get used to asking for what we need for our health and well-being, what we want for our pleasure. So that is something most of us didn't get training in. So we get to train ourselves and learn how to use our gifts in a way that really, really serve us. I'm not entirely sure. I'd be curious to see if you agree with that. I'm not sure we can be too kind. I'm not sure about that. I think kindness is a place, it's an energy in our hearts. And I don't really want to turn that off because that's where I love. My kindness is a love that I can show toward me and I can show toward others, but it's also what I feel. Yeah. Some of you, kindness is what you feel. I don't want to turn that off. Yeah. Yeah, and seeing some of you agree with that. And it's okay with me if you disagree with that too. I'm exploring it at the moment. I don't have any attachment to it. I think what happens is that we either forget or don't know how to be kind to ourselves. Would you agree? We forget, we don't know how. So then, because the quotient is off, it feels like we're too kind to others because there isn't enough going on in here to take care of ourselves. So I want to share this lovely quotient I learned. This is from an ancient path in the feminine, over 1,000 years old. When I started meditating in compassion and discovering what that meant to hold myself or hold another in compassion, there's a formula for that. So I can tell you what the formula is. You can apply it to every area of your life. Would that be helpful? The little quotient. Okay, it's super simple, nothing fancy. And in my experience, the simpler it is, the more powerful it is when it's a spiritual teaching. Have you found that to be true? Simpler, the more powerful. It will call from us. It'll demand from us. Yeah, some of you have found the same thing too. It'll demand from us a level of awareness that we haven't had before. That's where the changes start really happening. All right, so here's the formula, super simple. Kindness, or if you prefer the word compassion, that's fine. In this order: for self, for other, for self. You could call it a self-love sandwich. It's super simple, isn't it? It's super, you're nodding because it's like, I know that. Of course you do. Of course. It's like it's in us at some level. We know that. Self, then other, then self again. Again. So first, caring and kindness here. Does that resonate with you? Right. Right. We can only give what we have. Exactly. And when we've been with someone who maybe requires a lot of energy, we need the other side of it. We need the self-care. Some of you are going to be joining me for a 2-day retreat in a week. A week, exactly 1 week. That's right, a 2-day retreat on Unshakable Self-Love and the Overwhelm. At the end of each day, I do something for me. At the beginning of each day, I do something for me. It wouldn't be any fun if I got on the retreat with you and then resented you, would it? Oh, yuck. That'd be terrible, wouldn't it? You would feel terrible. I would feel terrible. We'd all feel bad. It would not be very satisfying, right? We know this. We know this intuitively. So the first thing I do in the morning is my compassion meditation for me. For me, just me. Then I'm present for the day. And that becomes a joy for me because I'm full. You know what I'm talking about. Those of you that are healers and you fill yourself up first and then you do that healing work. It's like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful, isn't it? Even when you're doing some of the deepest, hardest, digging down in their work, there's this sense of, oh, we're healing, we're raising, we're opening, we're awakening, and it's sweet. It's sweet. And then I do something again for me. I go out on the mother. I take a walk. I let nature heal me. I let nature hold me and love me. I spend time eating something that's pleasing to me, good for me. I rest. I rest. And then I get ready for the next day. I practice what my ancestors taught me, that beautiful self-love sandwich. First me, then others, then me. And what I've discovered over the years is it releases the resentment because I'm not depleted. I'm always revived. It's just steady revival. People will say, oh my gosh, Misa, you were doing healing for 8 hours, or you were doing, don't you just get exhausted? Nope, there's no exhaustion. I need to replenish. Yes, I need to take care of me. I need to take care of my physical body. Yes, but no, nothing was taken from me because I was already full. Does this make sense? Nothing was taken from me. It's my job to be full. Nobody can take that from me or give it to me. I'm just present. This is making sense. Somebody agrees. It's pretty deep. We went a little deep here. Presence, that state of compassionate, loving presence, simply fulfills itself. Whether I'm tending to me or I am in service to another, that kind, compassionate awareness fulfills itself. It is an energy of creation and the divine unto itself. And what it asks from us is to be present to that kindness, that compassion. When I am with myself and when I am with others. I know, that was really deep. Let's do it again. So, compassion, kindness is an energy of the divine. It is divine energy unto itself. It exists, period. It exists. If I choose to be present to that compassion for myself, I am that compassion. I'm full. If I choose to be in that compassion for another, I am in compassion. I am full. I am full. And that's available to all of us as we cultivate that depth of compassion. We simply are that compassion. We are simply full. We don't feel this dynamic of feeling depleted, undepleted. When we're in that state of that pure compassion, there is a deep, deep wisdom It says, this is mine to do. This is theirs to do. It comes out of that love, that pure love that sees, we were going to do this at the retreat. We're going to do it today. All right. That sees, this is helpful. Good. That sees exactly what is needed for your empowerment and theirs. Their empowerment is something they probably need to do for themselves. Or our empowerment, appropriately, is to do something for them. And it depends. And it totally depends. It comes in that deep state of divine awareness that we have that discernment. For those of you that are healers, have you ever gone into the healing energy and realized you were in the energetic healing space and then you did too much? There's a place where you can do too much. My elder River taught me that. She was extracting the energy associated with cancer from a person's body, and I could see there was more. And I said, River, why did you only take what you took and not more? And she said, oh my goodness, honey, if I took all of it out, she'd go into crisis. You only do a little bit. She didn't go in with direct white light. That would be too much, too fast. There's work, she said, that this woman needs to do. She needs an opportunity to do it. That's where I learned. In that compassionate energy, River sensed exactly what was hers to do to help. That was empowering to her as a healer and empowering to the woman she was serving. And she knew exactly where to stop so that the empowerment, the self-empowerment of the woman could rise up in her. Now, River would be able to go back and be able to support her further as her own inner power awakened. This is making sense to some of you? Oh, we went way deep. Oh, I love it when we go that deep. I can see it. It's resonating. Yes. Yes. So we need that space. We've already been at a half an hour. So for those of you that need to go, I am giving you so much love because we just went over. Not that I ever do that. Like almost always. Those of you who know me, you're laughing because you know, yes, I do. All right. So yes, being in the moment, being in that flow in the moment, that infinite space, beautifully said. I'm seeing in the chat room here. Yeah, Amy, you've got it. Yeah, so it's that just right energy. Then we're all just in the energy of that compassion and we're full. Nobody's getting depleted. All right, so back to our equation, our sandwich, our self-love sandwich, self, other, self. If we're going to break it down a little bit, tell me something you do or could do to show yourself greater kindness and compassion before you do something for another. So think of somebody in your life who depletes you a little bit. What could you do for yourself first before you engage with them? Qigong, Amy, that's awesome. I love that. Beautiful. Oop, that was directly to me. I hope it was okay. I shared that, Amy. Rima, fearless. Oh, so you cultivate some wonderful energy. Okay, good, Amy. I'm glad I didn't violate any confidentiality. Thank you. Yeah, what else? What do you do? Let's give some ideas to each other. Pop something in the chat room. Set a time limit in advance. Beautiful, Rich. Yes, I can do this much. This much is that works for me. I love that when you know that place. Yes, remember that I'm always enough, that I'm good enough always. You know, that's beautiful. Speak the truth with kindness. I love that one. Yeah. We can often get to it with kindness if we just take a breath. And Kate says, breathe. Yes, there we go. There it is. Breathe. Then what's next? Ooh, to go into my journaling. Such a beautiful place to nourish ourselves, especially if we acknowledge what we are doing, what we are contributing, the kindness that we're growing into, the depth of compassion we're moving into. These kinds of ways of journaling are so sweet. Zhao Yang, forgive me if I'm saying your name wrong. Realize that you aren't alone. Problem and frustration you face, like being bullied, manipulated, taken advantage of because of your personality, kind-hearted nature, are extremely common. That's true. And I have found that the people who are bullying or being rude, they're more wounded than I am. They just are. They need compassion like on steroids. Big time. They really need it. So when they're being rude or they're having a hard time, that's the time to slip into even greater. Whoa, you don't have to say it out loud, but inside you are really wounded, sweetheart. Whoa, somebody bullied you really badly in your life. Somebody was really mean and manipulative to you when you were little. You were really little. Oh man, open that compassion to that little one. Instant change. One of our mastery students did that the other day. A woman said to her one of the rudest things I've ever, didn't know her. Incredibly rude comment. And she's been leaning into this compassion work that we do for a year now. And she said, I just looked at her. I didn't say a word because I knew she couldn't take anything in. And my heart just went, oh my goodness, sweetie. Oh my goodness, darling. That's a lot of pain to carry. Isn't that a beautiful response? Yeah. Yeah, Pamela, not be so demanding of self and others. Yes. If we can just lower our expectations a little bit. I know I asked for what I wanted. I'm going to ask them for that 19 times. It helps a lot. It helps a lot. But we can rest a little bit up. We're only on times 17. We got a little ways to go yet before that's going to sink in and start being familiar to them. Yeah, releasing those expectations that they are who they are. We are who we are. Ooh, Sarah, you play with pets. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. All that all accepting love that they have. Caroline, ground yourself. Absolutely. When we get our shoes off, we connect with the earth. And by the way, my elders never taught me meditations for grounding. We didn't meditate to ground. We got our feet on the ground, on the earth. That's grounding. We sat with the trees. That was grounding with Mother Earth. With Mother Earth, because she stabilizes the emotional playing field like this. Have you ever noticed that? You're all upset with somebody, go for a walk by your favorite element. Go out by the trees, get onto the earth, get near the water, get onto a windy hill if you're a wind person, right? Get out in the sun if you're a sun person. Ground into those elements and boom. You're like, oh, that's my part in this. That's what I can do. Oh, that's her part. I need to give her some space to figure that out. I need to set a sacred boundary. Let her figure it out. Yeah. It's okay to say no. Sacred no's. Yes, Brenda, absolutely. We can do it kindly and say no. Most of the time we can do it kindly. Yeah, take a rest now. I love that too. Yeah, just rest, chill. Amy, time in nature, big one, especially for sensitives and empathics. The more sensitive and empathic you are, the more time you need in nature. Yep. Feel into my body and recognize where my strength lies. Yes. And where I may feel depleted, and breathe. Lovely. I hope you're getting some tips. There's some wisdom in this group. This too. Sheila, you need to go. We love you. Take care, sweetie. Hope to see you again soon. Yeah. Beautiful. Let go of the outcome. Yeah. There's a power in that, Rima. There's such a power in that. Good, good, good. You've gotten some good ideas. Yes. One, everybody get one, at least one idea today. Let me know you got one. Yeah. Okay. I'm seeing hands. Okay, good. That's what we want. So I'm going to give you a quick exercise you can do on your own. My background is in behaviorism and special education. So I was all about my younger years changing behavior, including my own behavior. And when I realized that I didn't know how to communicate what I wanted, I created an exercise for myself. I'll share it with you. It's fun to do. So I chose my day, which was a day off, one day off. And I said, today, and you could choose to do this for half a day or 2 hours, whatever you feel ready for. I did it for a day. So it was Saturday, day off. Here's my rule. I can only do things I want to do. That's it. Can't do anything I don't want to do, off limits, feel I need to do, like I should vacuum, I should dust the house. Nothing I need to do, not even the dishes. They sat on the counter. Yes. Yep. Only want to do's today. So I'm sitting up in bed and I'm thinking, well, I really want to use the bathroom. So we're starting there. Of course, I crawled back into bed, sat there. Now, what do I want? Back then I was drinking coffee. I want a cup of coffee. Okay. Into the kitchen, made a cup of coffee. You know where I went. Back into bed, sat. What do I want now? I just want to open the window and enjoy the birds singing. I want to journal. I want to shower. I want to take a drive. I want to go see the wildflowers. I want all day long. It was such a sweet day. And there was nothing fancy in there at all. Nothing expensive, just me dialing into what I want. And it was so nourishing to realize that I did know what I want. I didn't know what I wanted. I just wasn't used to tuning into it. And I wasn't used to giving it to myself. And then later that became learning how to ask for it. But initially, I just needed to know what the heck I wanted. So is that useful to anyone, that practice? Somebody going to try it maybe? Yeah. Or you've got a client that might want to do that? Yeah. Good. Good. And it's so fun. It's so fun. So I invite you to give that one a shot and go a little deeper with me. We'll go, believe it or not, because we went pretty deep today, deeper than I thought we were going to go. So I know we've got some powerhouses in here. You travel into deep waters, and I love that. I love that. So at the breakthrough, sorry, wrong one. The Unshakable Self-Love Retreat and the Overwhelm that we're doing on August 19th and 20th. You're welcome to come join me. And some of you are signed up. Yes, we have some of you. Yep, I see nodded heads. Some of you are signed up. Some of you don't know about it yet. I'm going to put this in the chat window. You are so, yep, Amy signed up. Rima, yes, cool. I get to see you there. All right, I'm going to put the link in the chat room for you. Don't chat anything for just a minute so the gals can copy the link. Those 3 little dots to the right of it, you can copy it and paste it in your browser. So we'll be looking at several things together, like how to release that, a little more about how to release that disempowering nature of kindness. There's a place where we disempower the very people that we're trying to help. So we'll look at that a little more deeply, ending the cycle of both mental and emotional overwhelm. And we do this, by the way, with 2 ancient practices. So we do one ancient practice on one day and the second ancient practice on the second day. And you are most welcome to come experience them. This is free, by the way. It's free. So you can come, bring a friend, experience what those practices can do. There's a healing power that's hidden, and it's behind your emotions. So you're going to get an opportunity to look at how you access the hidden power that's behind the emotions. Let go of some inner struggles. We'll be doing some of that. One of the practices is amazing for releasing trauma. So if you know you were traumatized as a child or a young adult, you're carrying trauma in your body. This is our core practice for that. We've had women let go of, including Ariane, who was just here. Ariane let go. She talks about it. She has a testimonial for us. And she's also a teacher in our She Rising Academy. She released 15 years of chronic genetic depression doing this one practice. So yeah, powerful stuff. I'll teach you an ancient practice for setting boundaries. Some of you mentioned setting boundaries. There's a way to do that in a sacred way. Really sweet. Really, really beautiful, makes it easier, gentler. I'll also share with you why prayers often don't work and what you need to do for a prayer to work. So we do that because we deserve to live in our health, our joy, our ease, have inspiring, prosperous lives, enjoy meaningful relationships, really know our true purpose, why we came here, live our lives of purpose. That's who you are, isn't it? That's what you came to do. And so we do these ancient practices to empower us in leading the fulfilling lives we came here to live, including being as kind as we want to and still be safe and still feel wonderful about our service to others. So you are totally amazing, amazing. I'm going to stay here. Whoa, we really could go over. I'm going to stay here for about 10 more minutes. That's what I've got to answer any questions and answers to those of you who need to go. So much love. And I can't wait until I get to see you next time. Yeah. Oh my gosh, is that a cheetah? That's beautiful. Yeah.
Well,
Why
actually,
not?
it's a jaguar. It's a
Got it.
it's a jag is a jaguar, a majestic jaguar.
Love it.
Okay, well, it's not just for everyone, because one thing about boundary setting is that it's important for us to have boundary setting, but this is where the problem comes in. Actually, boundary setting can be a two-edged sword. Okay, because on one hand, a lot of times it's easy to set boundaries where it's easy to stand for yourself, where you don't have anything to lose or if you don't care. But sometimes it's not so easy to stand for yourself when the situation's not in your favor, when you have a lot to lose. There are examples just like a lot of the female anchors and stuff. Unfortunately, as part of your job, they have gotten death threats or unwanted just harassment messages. Some of these people, they have gone to their management to speak about it. The management just dismisses them because they're saying that, well, unfortunately, getting harassments, even death threats is sadly is a part of the job. So if you can't handle it and stuff, you are not fit to be a news anchor. And plus, there's in the field of news, let's say news, being a news anchor, supply vastly exceeds the demand. So if you don't want to do this job, there are like 1,000 other applicants to replace you. So unfortunately, some people, they just have to put up with it because your management may not support you. And being a news anchor is not like working at a retail job saying, oh, I think that like Walmart's treating me badly, so I can go to Myers and stuff. Unfortunately, if this news station doesn't work out for you, and as you have connections or you have special talents, it's going to be very hard for you to work in that field. And you just can't just walk away, because for some people, let's say being a news anchor, this is a job that you prepare 10 or 20 years for. That's number one. So how to set, again, sorry to going on, but number one is how to set boundaries when the situation is not in your favor and if you have a lot to lose. That's my main question. And also number two, one thing about boundary settings that some people have pointed out, like especially for folks who are African Americans, especially women, they're saying that they have tried boundary setting. They have tried to stand for yourself. But if you're too assertive, if you set too many boundaries, at work, people are going to say they view you as too aggressive. They view you as difficult to work with. And when you're viewed as too difficult to work with, you're not going to get that promotion you want. You are going to have a lower job satisfaction because your colleagues will avoid you. So it'd be great to to kind of if you can to address this issue, because I think this is a common problem both women and men face.
Yeah, absolutely. And in my experience, what happens is that we've been taught to set boundaries as combatants, and that's why they don't work. And there's a big difference when we come from a sacred feminine consciousness in the way that we're setting the boundary. The boundary becomes more about self than other. And it's quite intriguing what we can transform within the sacred container that can't so easily be transformed in the external without that internal work first. And we have just a beautiful, beautiful graduate from our programs in the academy, where we go way even deeper into this, who worked for a peacekeeping organization and they traveled into Myanmar. She was from Thailand. They traveled into Myanmar and were working with individuals whose boundaries were dramatically, seriously violated, as in raped, as in loved ones killed, as in being the aggressors and being the ones that were the recipients of that aggression. And it really had to do with creating a sacred container that allowed those conversations to occur at a whole nother level. And that could only happen. She was only able to bring that sacred consciousness into those environments because the inner struggle that was going on was resolved. You can't set a boundary with the inner struggle still like this and see any change in the external world. The inner struggle has to be resolved enough that you see a change in your external world because of how you are, not what you're doing. Is that useful? Yeah, and we're going to be doing the beginning part of that in the retreat, the essence of what a sacred boundary is, so that you can begin developing that sacred space within yourself. Yeah, and with respect, there's a place for a warrior stance. Absolutely, there's a place. And if there's too much inner struggle going on, that warrior stance is going to be really hard to live into, and to even know what that stance should be, to even know what it should be. So yeah, just come join us. I would invite you, come join us. Do you think you would be able to do that? Come have that conversation with us, go a little deeper. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, right now, Misa, just quickly, I am trying to work, because I put on a comment, I'm trying to finish your book. I've enjoyed your book so far. It's a root of all healing. I am, it's not working really well, but I have finished 3 chapters. I'm hoping to finish the rest of them by the end of the month. And in addition to this, it's a great compliment, because I've done some webinars, I've gone and joined some dealing with trauma theories, and of course just reading what we're doing is part of addressing the trauma. And also I've done workshops for my Reiki Center. I also did kind of my research and just knowing, being self-aware, understanding personalities, understanding the world at large and how people are. It does help you better manage your trauma. And sometimes some situations you can just laugh it off, just like what I wrote earlier, where being bullied, being manipulated. We're just, getting people dropping you like a hot charcoal, or as soon as they don't need you. It's more a common problem than you think it is. So sometimes some situations you can actually laugh it off. Unfortunately, it's human nature. And as you can change people's wiring or something, these that are common problems, you have to be able to effectively manage as Homo sapiens during your time on this planet Earth.
Yeah, exactly. And we get to choose every step of the way how we're going to engage and to what degree we're going to engage. And we are on the planet of choice. So we're blessed. We're fortunate to get to make those choices. And even within situations when it appears there is no choice, there usually is a choice deep, deep, deep within. And that's often why we're there, is to go deeper into a place within ourselves we haven't yet met. So beautiful. Yeah, let's give her some love. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? One more question? Good. I'm glad this is replenishing for you. I'm seeing thank yous. You are so welcome. It's my honor, truly my honor. Rich, I'm so sorry. The free retreat, by the way, we do have men coming to our free events. The coursework that we do, not so much, but our free event's pretty woman focused, and God bless your bravery. I think you deserve a big hug and a big kiss for being here. Yeah, for being an intuitive, sensitive man. Love on you so much. Yeah, indeed. Indeed. All right. Are we complete for today? We did what we need to do? Yeah, good. All right. Well, thank you for sharing this time with me. Thank you so much. And what's your takeaway? Let's get that in the chat room. So what are you taking home with you today? Kindness to self first. Yeah, love must win. Yeah, it does. Yeah. Yeah, true compassion doesn't deplete you. That's right. Let me live in kindness. Uta, beautiful. To do what I want. Do what you want day, Nora. Yay. Tell me how it goes. I'll be very curious to hear. Self-compassion sandwich. Good opportunity to engage. Oh, I'm glad, sweetie. Yeah. Kate, having a day of doing what I want. Yeah, so replenishing. Self-love sandwich, steady replenishment. Yeah, so nothing is ever taken. That's right. That's right. Beautiful. All right. Okay. Good. And you can watch the replay in our Facebook group. Excuse me, I forgot to tell you, we'll have a link in the Facebook group, Unshakable Self-Love for Women Leaders. You can find it over there. If you're not a member, you're welcome to come join us. Unshakable Self-Love for Women Leaders. Yeah. Giving, doesn't complete us. That's right. We need that sandwich. I love that, Rich. It's so fun when you get that and you practice it. And we just feel this very, very constant state of being fully replenished and alive and kind as we want to be. All right. So here's the link to register. Please join me. I look forward to it. Can't wait to see you. And see you in the Facebook group. Join us over there too. All right. Oh, you're so welcome. So feel free to open up your lines, say goodbye, give a hug, some love to everybody. Thank everyone if you'd like. Yeah, you can unmute yourself. I can't unmute you, but you can.
Thank you, Misa.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Misa. Thank you, everyone.
Great. Thank you. Nice to be with you all. Thanks,
Yeah,
Misa.
Misa, I look forward to another mini retreat from time to time. And maybe you can schedule one for people who have read your book, and we can further discuss how we can heal authentically and stuff. So it'd be nice if you can, by the end of the year, if you can do that.
Well, there's a direct request. I love it. You're asking for what you want. Yeah, something based on the book would be really fun. I hadn't thought about that. So thank you for that idea. I'll sit with it. Indeed. All right. Awesome. All. Love you all. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.